cam,
Yeah,
I think, too.
good point. I think our Darius Washington is definitely a guy.
Good cam,
Yeah,
I think, too.
good point. I think our Darius.
On Ojabo Oweh with that pass rush. They've got so much talent, but yeah, they have a heavy responsibility this year.
Wherever you watch on our app, or website, or YouTube channel, go check it out. And of course, 11 on. So Lamar's trying to work the middle of the field here.
What's good, Commanders fans? Day 2 of joint practices against the Baltimore Ravens. Battle of the Beltway. If you were watching on the YouTube live stream, a lot of Commanders fans were certainly in the chat with the HTTC going crazy. Basically took over the Ravens YouTube live chat for sure. So shout out to all the Commanders out there for sure that were in the YouTube chat. The YouTube live stream for the Ravens, they did their best not to show our first team offense versus the first team Ravens defense. For the most part, they just showed Lamar, and Lamar struggled today. He really did. Our defense did a good job. Like, Cameron Crowe had a nice pass breakup. I showed that clip to you guys before I started talking. BSJ, Ben St. Juste, had a nice pass breakup. Emmanuel Forbes had a nice pass breakup. Mark Andrews, that was a beautiful play. Jahan Dotson had a nice catch over the middle of the field where he was wide open. A nice pass from Sam Howell. Marcus Kemp had a nice catch, a toe-tapping catch before he went out of bounds. That was a beautiful catch from Marcus Kemp. We'll see if he makes the roster, or at least the practice squad. But Lamar struggled today. He struggled today. Our defense was darn good. They made it tough on him, but he did miss a couple of plays. He did underthrow Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr., he did beat Emmanuel Forbes, I'll be honest on that, on a double move. And Lamar Jackson underthrew the pass. He also, there was a couple bad passes he had. Even yesterday, he was kind of off today too. And yesterday he was off. He missed a couple throws as well. I can't remember the other ones, but he was pretty darn up and down today for sure. He's been 11 for 26 against us in the 2 practices, so we made it tough on Lamar. We have Aguilar dropped a pass as well, so they just haven't been perfect. I'll say that they have their offense has been up and down, but they do have talent. We have made it tough on them for sure. Like, you see John Allen and Daron Payne blowing up a run play. Daron Payne and John Allen, we already know what they do. Chase Young did individual drills, but he did not participate on the 11-on-11 drills. Logan Thomas out again, and Sadiq Charles was taken out of practice with the calf issue once again. So can we really trust Sadiq Charles? At this point, we'll just see what happens week 1 with Sadiq Charles. And then Fedarian Mathis, I'm pretty sure he did not practice today as well. So, and then the media, they did not tweet much about Sam Howell, so they didn't say much at all. But I'm going to read the live tweets here and react to those, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Of course, there was a couple fights, so I'll read about those. JB Finley said Ben St. Juste with a nice play in the corner of the end zone in 7-for-7 and jumped up with a lockdown celebration. I did see that. Ben St. Juste has a good move. Now, Zay Flowers did get Ben St. Juste on a one-on-one. One-on-ones are, the wide receivers are supposed to win those reps. But, of course, I got to give Zay Flowers his credit. I like the Ravens receiving core. I really do. I like Zay Flowers. Odell is good. Rashad Bateman, he's hurt, but I think he's a good player. And Aguilar's not a bad 3rd or 4th receiver out there. Now, our guys, Terry and Jahan, they were cooking Marlon, well, really just Terry, but Terry was cooking Marlon Humphrey so bad, and I don't want to smile about an injury. I hope a speedy recovery from Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens. I really do. I hate seeing injuries, but he has to get surgery from what I saw on social media. But, man, Terry was cooking that man. He was juking that man out of his shoes. Like, it was just a mismatch out there yesterday from what I saw. It just looked like it wasn't fair. It looked like Marlon Humphrey it looked like the foot speed from Terry McLaurin, the quickness, the elusiveness, the route running. It was just too much for Marlon Humphrey. And because there's really no contact, so that's the only way that Marlon Humphrey really could have got hurt. Probably that comeback route that Terry had where Marlon slipped and still had a flag thrown on him, and Terry caught the ball pretty darn easily with a good amount of separation as well. So I wish Marlon Humphrey a speedy recovery, but it probably was because he was going up against our nasty trio of wide receivers that he had a tough injury. But I wish him a speedy recovery for sure. Zach Selby says a couple of really nice pass breakups from Danny Johnson and Tyreek Castro-Fields during 7-on-7 drills. I did see that. Tyreek Castro-Fields did make a nice play on that play. This is from Chris Rem, a Baltimore Ravens beat reporter. He says another fight. Linebacker Patrick Queen and Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. got into it, both swinging at each other, and then the sidelines cleared. This one was broken up pretty quickly. Jones Schaffer, another Ravens beat reporter, he says practice isn't an hour old, and we already have one of our worst fights of the joint practices. Looked like things popped off in the offensive line versus the defensive line one-on-ones. Justin Matabuk was hit in the eye of the storm. Odafe away ended with his helmet off. A few minutes later, another minor scuffle. So guys were certainly going at it. You know, it's warm outside, so and that's just what's going to happen in practice, especially joint practices. Fights happen all the time. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell dropped a pass from Lamar Jackson where he was pretty wide open against Derek Forrest. So some of the guys from the Ravens, and I want to be honest about our defense, it's practice, but the defense certainly made some good plays. They did, but the Ravens they were dropping passes and they were a little out of control, a little erratic. Lamar was certainly erratic for sure. Zach Selby says St. Jude's looking healthy today. Just had a pass breakup working against Devin Duvernay. That's the guy who threw Emmanuel Forbes to the ground. So good play from St. Jude's. Billy M _91, who I think is a Ravens beat reporter or something like that. He says Commanders defense is looking darn good, man. First team Ravens could not do a thing. Yeah, it was back-to-back plays where Cam Curl had a pass breakup. Ben St. Jude's had a pass breakup. It was back-to-back plays. Cam Curl pass breakup on Mark Andrews. Emmanuel Forbes pass breakup on Mark Andrews in the end zone. So the defense made plays, man. Our secondary is going to be really good. We have a really, really good we have a talented, deep secondary for sure. All right. Andre Jones was certainly a standout today. He had a darn good day. He had a darn good preseason as well. Zach Selby says Howell rolls out and fires a shot to an open De'Ami Brown for a decent game. So that's good news for De'Ami Brown because he did have a drop yesterday where he was open. So De'Ami Brown makes a play and Sam Howell gets out. I love when we get Sam Howell out the pocket. That's when he does the most of his damage for sure. Ryan Mink, a Ravens beat reporter, says Odafe away with another sack during 11s. Ravens have Sam Howell flee in the pocket early today. Like I said yesterday, the offensive line, they struggled a little bit yesterday. They did for sure. Mason Kinahan with a couple videos. Zach Selby says John Bates is having a really nice 11 versus 11 period. He made 3 catches so far, including a contested grab on a pass from Sam Howell. So John Bates had that drop. Now, John Bates, he's not a receiving tight end, so I don't expect much from him. He did have a touchdown catch last year, and then he had a nice play against the Eagles when Garrett Gilbert was the quarterback. So John Bates is our third guy, but he's our best pass blocking or run blocking tight end. So he just doesn't provide much in the pass game, but it looks like he had a good practice today. Linnell Willingham says, don't know if it's Veterans Day for Leno, but Cornelius Lucas at left tackle during this 11 versus 11 period. Zach Selby said, nice run from Brian Robinson in the series with the starters, but it was Alex Armah making a nice block on Odafe Owe that made the play so successful. So we'll see if Alex Armah makes the team. Brian Robinson, of course, making some nice runs out there. Chris Rim, Ravens beat reporter, said practice just ended. I watched the Commanders' offense against the Ravens' defense. Biggest takeaway, David Ojabo looked really good today. He was disruptive on just about every play and had a sack on Sam Howell early. Otherwise, pretty even day with wins for both sides. So that's good to hear. We really held our own. It wasn't like the Patriots when they came to town against the Skins at the time. RG3 was the quarterback, and the Patriots just looked like the superior team by far. Looks like we held our own against a perennial playoff team and an MVP candidate, Lamar Jackson, who just got paid a boatload of money. And I think Lamar deserved that money as well. So it looks like we did a good job against a darn good team and a darn good organization in the Baltimore Ravens. Jonas Schaefer says, Ravens, Commanders, joint practices have wrapped up. The second hour was much more chill than the first. Lamar Jackson and the first team office did not have a good morning. I had Lamar at 8 for 19 and 11 on 11s, and 3 for 7 and 7 on 7s, drops and pass breakups in there, but several misses as well. All right. John Conn says Sadiq Charles worked early in practice, and they shut him down because of the calf. After that, he still did some individual work, but no pads and no full team practice for Sadiq Charles again. He's just not reliable, man. It is what it is, but it's kind of like the Curtis Samuel situation where he was just on the side field, but we knew what Curtis was. Curtis showed what he could do with the Panthers. Sadiq Charles hasn't showed us a darn thing. He hasn't showed us anything in a game at all. So there's nothing to really go off. At least Curtis is okay, we know Curtis is talented, but Sadiq, there's really nothing to go off at all. So I really don't mind Chris Paul starting at left guard on week 1. I don't mind it at all. And people who have Sadiq as the surprise cut, I could see it happening, but I don't see it happening at the same time because I think Eric Bieniemy has a relationship with Sadiq Charles, and I think it looks like they're trying to give Sadiq the most chances over and over again to be successful and to start. So I don't think he's going to get cut. Pedro H. Worms, another Ravens beat reporter, he says, bad day for the offense with a lot of drops and good coverage from the Commanders DBs. So the Ravens beat reporters are giving the Commanders DBs a lot of credit there. Mayo, Forbes, Cam Curl, St. Juice. Lamar has some bad throws too, some underthrows and a few missed deep shots. He also said the Commanders offensive line did better today, some fights there as well. And that's about it for the Commanders side. But he said a lighter practice than yesterday's practice. So it was a lighter practice John Cobb says defensive end Andre Jones got some good work with the starters. Versus the starters, he has flashed this summer more than a few times. Says the game is slowing down. When I don't think I just go, I'm going to be a problem. He said also getting work on special teams, good sign for him. So the 7th round draft pick out of Louisiana, the Raging Cajun. We'll see if this guy makes the team, man. He's making some noise, man. He had a nice TFL attacker for loss in the preseason game that set up a missed field goal for the Browns. So we'll see if he makes the team. Ron Rivera also said some good things about Andre Jones as well. He said he has exceeded expectations. Wow, he's a dynamic young man. His talent and his abilities to flash. He's a guy we have to pay attention to. So a lot of people slept on Andre Jones when we drafted him, and they just wrote him off. And it's really it's going to be him versus KJ Henry for some snaps and some reps and dressing up on game day. So we'll see what happens with Andre Jones. And I think that's about it. Ron Rivera declined to officially name Sam Howell the starter for the season. However, they'll meet over the next 2 days. Could lead to a formal announcement on Friday. Howell hasn't done anything to lose a job. But these 2 days were key. Go back, analyze, discuss, and proceed. So we know that Sam Howell's a starter. Ron does this all the time. He did it with Dwayne Haskins. Kind of did it with Fitzpatrick just a little bit. Kind of tried to say it was a competition with Fitz and Heineke, but we all knew Fitzpatrick was going to be the starter. So Ron likes to do this, even though he knows, we all know, we weren't born yesterday. So we already know that Sam Howell's going to be named the starter. So once again, they just did not say much they didn't show any clips of the offense, and the beat reporters did not say much about the offense. But Jahan Dotson did get open for a nice catch. I did see that. All right, so that's about it for today. And if they have an open practice, or if the fans are allowed or the media are allowed, then I'll definitely react to practice notes and stuff like that tomorrow. I think it's going to be Friday and Saturday are the last practices open to the fans. And then, of course, we have the Monday Night Football game against the Ravens. So that should be a lot of fun. So the practice recap is basically the DBs did a good job. Jahan Dotson is just a really good, darn good wide receiver, as we already know. And offensive line did a little bit better today. And Lamar Jackson struggled against our defense. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Healthy Commanders. Peace.